This game went off the rails fast. Caitlin Clark was getting hit left and right, cheap fouls, elbows, and that brutal shove from Marina Mabrey that sent her crashing to the floor. And the refs? Just watching like it was part of the plan. But that's when Sophie Cunningham had enough. She wasn't about to let her teammate get bullied again. Sophie stepped in, stood tall, and made it loud and clear. If you come for Caitlin, you're gonna have to deal with her. What happened next? Absolute chaos. Players got in each other's faces, texts were flying, bodies were hitting the floor, and the whole vibe of the game shifted. This wasn't just basketball anymore, this was personal.
There's the eye gouge, okay? And there's Mabrey right there with the hip check, the shove. That's the eye gouge. And then right there, good God Almighty.
Let's be real, this wasn't your typical WNBA showdown. This game felt like a street fight dressed up as basketball. Right from the tip, something felt off. You could sense it in the air. Caitlin Clark had a target on her back. Every time she moved, someone was bumping her, grabbing her, or taking cheap shots when the refs weren't looking. It wasn't defense, it was intimidation. But the moment that flipped the script, Marina Mabrey coming in out of nowhere and delivering a full-on shove that knocked Caitlin to the hardwood. And the worst part? No flagrant, no ejection, just a little technical foul like it was nothing.
Suspension. So she should be suspended. She should, bro, they gave her a regular technical foul as if she just said a curse word at a referee.
If that had been Steph Curry or Luka Doncic, we're talking headlines, suspensions, outrage. But this was brushed off like it was normal. That's what made this more than a game, it was a full-blown message. Caitlin Clark was being hunted, and that's when things got wild. Let me ask you, what would your reaction be if your star player got blindsided like that and the refs just shrugged? Before Mabrey's shove, there was already tension bubbling, and JC Sheldon had been stirring it from the start. She was on Caitlin like glue, and not in a lockdown defender kind of way. It was pokes to the face, little grabs, reaching across her arm, stuff you don't always see on camera, but drives players mad.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlin Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it, okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its players.
Then came the moment. JC jabs at Caitlin's face. You could see Clark react instantly. She's had enough. But the refs, crickets. And that's the problem. If you let those small shots go unchecked, players start pushing back. Then you finally blow the whistle on the retaliation.
There wasn't an explanation for the tech that she got. You know, I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better. They got to be better.
Coach Stephanie White said it best. We knew this would happen if they didn't control the game. And she's absolutely right. The officiating was missing in action. They let this powder keg build up, and once it blew, they acted surprised. Let me ask you, if a star rookie in any other league got poked in the face all night, what would the league do? The WNBA better start answering that question soon. Marina Mabrey's shove wasn't just physical, it was calculated. Clark had just gotten up from another hard foul trying to refocus. And out of nowhere, here comes Mabrey hip-checking her from behind like she's playing linebacker, not basketball. Caitlin flies to the floor. The entire arena freezes. And what do the refs do? Just hand out a basic technical foul. That's it. No flagrant, no ejection, not even a real review. Even the broadcasters were stunned. They fully expected Mabrey to get tossed. I mean, the angle didn't lie. That wasn't incidental contact. That was targeted, full-body, unnecessary contact. This is where things get real. If players like Mabrey can get away with that kind of play, what's the message? That it's open season on Caitlin Clark? How long do you think it'll be before a cheap shot turns into an actual injury? And honestly, are we supposed to believe this is just part of the game? Because if this is the new normal, the league's in trouble.
Hello, Earth to Kathy Engelberg. Are you gonna step in and do something about this trash that's going on? Players are getting assaulted on the floor. Like, come on, bro, Caitlin Clark could have really got injured right there, y'all. She could have really got injured by these haters, these jealous, hating players. They just jealous and hating, bro.
Now here's where things get good because finally someone stood up. That's someone? Sophie Cunningham. She saw everything. The elbows, the fouls, the dirty plays. And after Caitlin hit the floor again, Sophie made a decision. No more. Next time J.C. Sheldon comes flying down the lane, Sophie doesn't just contest, she puts 2 arms on her and wraps her up. Was it clean? Nope. Was it dirty? Not really. It was just enough to make a point. You mess with our star, we're gonna respond. And J.C., she wasn't having it. She popped up, started chirping. Players from both teams rushed in. It looked like a hockey fight was about to break out. Sophie didn't back down an inch. She made her presence known. And you know what? Sometimes that's what it takes. Every team needs that one player who draws the line. Why did it take Sophie to be the one to step up? Where was everyone else? You thought Caitlin Clark was going to stay quiet after all that? Nope. Moments after that scuffle, Clark takes the ball up court, pulls up from deep and drains a 3 in J.C. Sheldon's face. She didn't just make the shot, she looked right at the Connecticut bench and let him hear it. That was vintage Caitlin. Ice cold, unbothered, dominant. She didn't need to swing. She didn't need to yell. Her shot said everything. Think about the mental toughness it takes to get knocked around, shoved, baited, and still respond like that. It wasn't about revenge. It was about reminding everyone, I'm still here, and you can't stop me. What does it say about her that she's this composed under pressure while still carrying her team? That's leadership. That's star power. If you saw the post-game press conference, you know Coach Stephanie White wasn't playing around. She looked straight into the cameras and called it out. This has been happening all season long, she said, and the officials have to be better. You could hear the frustration in her voice. This wasn't about one game, it was about a trend. She talked about how they saw it coming, how she was warning refs in the first quarter. And yet, nothing changed. And she's right. This didn't come out of nowhere. The WNBA has let these games spiral out of control. And when it finally erupted, they blamed the players. Coach White wasn't just standing up for Caitlin. She was standing up for every woman in that locker room. You think the league heard her? Or are they just gonna find her and keep moving? This part stings a little. When Caitlin got shoved, where was the rest of the team? Aaliyah Boston looked at her and walked away. Natasha Howard didn't flinch. Nobody stepped in, except Sophie, and fans noticed. Look, it's one thing to keep your cool. It's another to let your teammate get hit and act like nothing happened. We're not saying they needed to fight, but even body language matters. Presence matters. Sophie showed she was willing to throw down for her teammate. And the rest of the team, it kind of felt like they were waiting for someone else to handle it. So, here's a tough question. Does Caitlin have the full support of that locker room? And if not, how long can she keep leading this team by herself? Oh, social media was on fire. Suspend Mabrey was trending before the game even ended. Fans were calling out the double standards. Media personalities, Barstool, ESPN, local stations, everyone was weighing in. And the common thread? Why is Caitlin Clark the one taking all the hits while the league stays quiet? Even fans who don't like Clark were saying it. She deserves protection. You can hate her game, hate her hype, but you can't deny she's getting targeted. And people are fed up, not just because it's unfair, but because it's bad for the league. What happens when your most marketable star gets injured? What happens when she says, you know what? I'm going to Europe where they actually call fouls. The league better wake up.
The hits don't bother me, but we're playing basketball here. Not street ball, but what's supposed to be a professional basketball. Supposed to be the women's version of the National Basketball Association. What a joke that is right now.
Here's the problem. The WNBA wants to grow. They want more viewers, more merch sales, bigger media deals. And Caitlin Clark is helping deliver all of that. But when she gets shoved to the floor again, the league says nothing, no suspension, no official review, just radio silence. It's like they want to benefit from her, but not stand up for her. That's not just bad leadership, it's dangerous, because the next cheap shot might be the one that ends her season. And then what? Fans are watching, sponsors are watching, and if the league doesn't act, it's not just about Clark, it's about the league's credibility. What's it going to take for them to protect their stars?
This is what this league has become, bro. This is what this league is. We got a bunch of people who are hating and bitter and jealous and trying to physically assault Caitlin Clark. And I thought, shout out to Angry Fan Sports, I thought he was kind of tripping when he said, yo, I don't even want Caitlin Clark to play against Dallas. But after seeing Marina Mabrey get away with this, he's right. Angry Fan Sports is right. There's no way Caitlin Clark should play against Dallas with what they're gonna let Dejanay Carrington do. They just let JC Sheldon poke her all in the eye 6-7 times. They let Tina Charles loke up on her and run up on her like she trying to squabble. They let Marina Mabrey knock her to the floor from behind, blindside her, give her whiplash, all types of stuff, man. The WNBA has become a joke.
This wasn't just a dust-up. It was the breaking point. A star got attacked. A teammate finally said enough. A coach risked fines to call it out. And the league? Still silent. This game exposed everything. It showed which players are willing to ride for each other. It showed which coaches are brave enough to speak the truth. And it showed just how far the WNBA still has to go. The Fever won that night, but the bigger story is what happens next. Will Marina Mabrey get suspended? Will the refs get held accountable? Will the league finally admit there's a problem? Or are we just waiting for the next explosion? Because something's got to give, and soon. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned.